such a remarkable young woman who is a pride for Pakistan, who's pride for probably all Pakistanis, all women pursuing a career in technology. And we have this great opportunity today to talk to her about her journey and the Leadership Talk series with NIC. Assalamu alaikum, Thank you. Thank you. For those who joined us online, we are live on Zoom. And if you all can hear us fine, please say so. My team is here online. They'll guide in case there's any issue. Those who are coming in from the door, in case because there are a lot of people coming in, we have spaces outside within this facility set up for you to view this on Zoom so that we exercise social distancing for the folks within this room. And we are already live on Facebook as well, I believe. In 20 seconds. Okay, good. So thank you everyone who's joined us online and those who are here. And apologies for the delay in starting. Thank you for waiting. So once we are live, we'll probably begin as well. And by the way, those of you who are joined in and who are not joined in, you can join Facebook as well. Leave your comments and questions there. And in the Q&A section on Zoom, we'll take that after the fireside chat. So today, I have the privilege to host the Tanya Idris. So thank you for taking our time, Tanya. Let me give you a little brief intro about the group. So Tanya Idris is the former Special Assistant to the Prime Minister of Pakistan on the Digital Pakistan Initiative. Prior to this appointment, Tanya spent 11 years at Google in the United States and Singapore, where she was the Director of Product Management for the Next Billion Users and Payments, also known as NBU. She was responsible for digitizing payments in emerging markets, particularly countries looking to take the leap from cash to digital. Tanya also started Google's business in South Asia frontier markets, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and led those teams as the country manager, where she was focused on expanding the internet ecosystem, increasing product adoption amongst consumers and businesses, and accelerating innovation. Prior to her work at Google, Tanya co-founded a mobile health diagnosis company called Click Diagnostics, focused on connecting rural patients in emerging markets to doctors globally. She also spent a portion of her career consulting for private and public sector organizations at Booz Allen Hamilton. Wow. She holds an MBA from the MIT Sloan School of Management and a BSc from the Brandeis University. So, with this such great, mashallah, profile, एक सबसे पहले सवाल, and I'll keep it in English if all of you are fine with it, because we have a larger audience and we're versatile to connect to. Let's talk about the early days. Tell us a little bit about your childhood. Who was Tanya, and how did you end up in Google?
So first off, Aseem, thank you so much for having me. Also, Pravesh, I don't know, thank you, and thank you to NIC as well. This is a very long time coming. I've been promising you guys that I'm going to do this, so I'm very happy, and I wish that we weren't living through these odd times with COVID, and that many people were having to join online to be here in person, but nevertheless. So you've asked me sort of journey. ऐसा क्वेश्चन से जब आप शुरू करेंगे ना तो उसका रिस्क मैं आपको अभी बताती हूँ, शायद नहीं हो कि वो पूरे आधा घंटा जो उसमें गुजर so I grew up in Karachi. So I was born in Canada, but I moved very, very early. And मतलब childhood Karachi में गुजारा, school in सारी उधर की. At least at that time, I'm very happy to see this whole insanity or review that sort of tapered down a little bit, but it was still a very big thing. The only respectable career for women was medicine, so it was a pre-med half. So I was actually pre-med. This is a little known fact about me, but I actually went to med school. I didn't complete it, so I proudly call myself a med school dropout. But I went to med school in Karachi for a year, and actually within a month of being there, I realized this is absolutely, I'm not lasting as a doctor. So उस दौरान हुआ था कि स्कूल खत्म हो गया था, तो the opportunity to apply colleges etc. जो क्लासिक होती है वो normally अगर आप FSC या A-level वगैरह जो भी कर रहे हैं उस दौरान वो opportunities मुझे खत्म हुई थी. So a bunch of my friends had left for the US. So I was like, यार parents को बताना है कि जी मेडिकल स्कूल से तो drop out कर रहे हैं, तो thought arrangement करनी पड़ेगी. So what I did then was I actually talked to a bunch of my friends who were already in the US, applied to colleges in the US, and this was a time when we were not at the risk of telling you guys how old I am. But सारी applications जो थी वो paper based होती थी. So you had to write to universities and they would send you their
prospectus, yeah.
exactly
Ones, right?
the thick ones, and then you waited very anxiously to see कि आपको बिल्कुल पतला सा envelope आएगा, which was a rejection, या आपको बड़ा envelope आएगा colleges से, which is an acceptance. So I actually applied while I was at Dow in Karachi to a bunch of colleges in the US. And उसमें थोड़ा सा ये था कि भाई कुछ डिफरेंट करना है, पता नहीं था एग्जैक्टली क्या करना है, लेकिन ये था कि यार ये नहीं करना जो करना है. So fortunately थोड़ी सी luck हो गई, but I managed to get into a couple of places. Also ended up getting a fair amount of financial aid. So at that point when my parents convinced them that I was जाने. I have very supportive parents, but a very supportive father. So despite the fact that we hadn't, no female particularly in my family had just packed bags and left to go to the US. So we do that. So I ended up in the US, and I think that was really a big turning point in my life. And then a long story short, finished my undergrad, did a bunch of different things, experimented with all the topics that I was interested in. So did a little bit of computer science, did economics, biology, Spanish, like just when you get these platforms where you can learn, that's sort of always been a huge passion point for me. So did that, got out in consulting for a few years, and उस दौरान मुझे हमेशा से sort of था कि खुद कुछ करना है. लेकिन I didn't at the time feel कि मेरे पास वो skills थी कि शायद, but I didn't know what it took to do something yourself. So a lot of wise people said यार you start MBA करो, with MBA so you get this sort of broad set of skills. So I enrolled, took my GMAT, enrolled in business school in Boston, and the whole idea of going for my MBA was to get sort of a broader set of experiences so that I could go be an entrepreneur, which is actually, interestingly enough, not that my career has much to do with entrepreneurship, but that's actually what I really wanted to do, was to do my own thing. And then while I was in business school, so sort of during my beginning of my second year of my MBA, I met this group of people that were passionate about technology, were passionate about healthcare, सारे emerging markets थे. There was a person from Bangladesh, a person from India, and myself. And we got together and we started this company. And really, this was slightly pre-smartphone, but the idea was that rural areas में हम सबके मुल्कों में मसला ये होता है कि आपको छोटे-छोटे diagnoses के लिए पूरे दिन ज़ाया करने पड़ते हैं, go to cities and get a diagnosis for something as simple as like a skin condition that can very easily be diagnosed remotely. So this is of course what telemedicine broadly is trying to tackle today. This was about 14, 15 years ago. So during that time, it's a summer में मुझे Google में internship मिल गई थी between my first and second year. So हुआ था कि tech में
this movie that came out that internship, was it on you?
No, it was absolutely not on me. Though I did enjoy watching it a lot. So Facebook wasn't really a big thing at the time when I was in business school. This again tells you how old I am. So I applied to a bunch of tech companies or Google में internship. So I spent the summer in the Bay Area, and I had an offer to go back, but my heart was actually in my startup.
Okay.
अच्छा, startup को थोड़ा सा आगे लेके गए. We did very well in an academic setting. We won a bunch of grants and things like that. But वो मसला ये होता है कि जब reality hit होती है, तो you realize कि winning a bunch of competitions isn't enough. You need to be able to raise money and there needs to be a clear business model. So what ended up happening was कि थोड़ा सा दिल पे पत्थर रख के I said कि नहीं यार this is just not pragmatic enough for me at this stage. So I ended up taking a full-time offer at Google, and I started out in their Boston office. This is back in 2008. So that's sort of very long story to how I got there. And then there was a very long period at Google last decade plus over there.
You spent a very fair amount of time at Google, and mashallah, you flew up the ranks. You were a director at a very senior level, looking at something unique, next billion users, the emerging markets, the fintech disruption. Over the last few years, and especially COVID, which accelerated this digital adoption. So I was reading that 4.5 billion people now use the internet. And social media users have surpassed the 3.8 billion mark. And this happened during COVID. Is it a pendulum swung and it will swing back? Was this temporary, or do you really think that this has accelerated the digital adoption pace, especially for that next billion users?
So look, let me tell you a little bit about the premise of Next Billion Users. So most large American tech companies have built products with their audience in mind, which is largely Western audiences. अपने backyard में देखते हैं. So if you look at most of Google's products up until quite recently, or you look at Facebook, or you look at really any of these large, big tech firms, they've all, after gaining success, tried to tackle emerging markets. So whether it's localization, कि language change करनी है, या things को ज़्यादा voice based करना है, when you're tackling markets where literacy levels are low. The premise of the Next Billion Users was कि जो internet users इस part of the world में online आ रहे हैं, their way of engaging with the internet is completely different. They don't start their journey on big screens. They start their journey on the mobile device. Many of them are multilingual, and their languages aren't available on, how much Sindhi content do we have on the internet. And even if you take highly spoken languages like Hindi, even up English or Hindi में comparison करें तो मेरे ख्याल 50 times the difference in terms of content available. So there's a very real challenge when you're tackling users that are coming online here. So there were many of us at Google that knew कि ये एक wave आ रही है और जो सारे users next आएंगे वो इन markets हैं. And companies like Google at the time weren't really set up to actually tackle those users. So this whole organization at Google was set up to actually build products for this audience first. So your question of this whole pendulum that swung in this way, to me, it's COVID has merely accelerated it. It's not that it wasn't going to happen or COVID की वजह से हुआ और हो जाएगा. I think we have just rapidly moved towards a world that we were moving towards anyway, and we've just sort of leapfrogged in a couple of years in that direction. So whether it's remote working or how we conduct business or really anything else, there's a broad acceptance now that you can do things without physically being present. And you see this, and I always give people this example कि अगर आपको governments के अंदर provincial governments, district governments के अंदर अब लोग अपने VC infrastructure में invest कर रहे हैं, that in itself is a sign कि that may not have happened for another 5 years in this country, and it happened in the last 6 months.
No, so I agree. Now that you're referring to the Pakistani scenario, in the past 8 years, we can trace the history of the ecosystem, the startup ecosystem, 8-9 years. A lot may have changed at a little slower pace, but COVID accelerated a lot. So more VCs, more checks being written this year, despite all the news and the chaos. But then there is another side of it. We are surrounded with lots and lots of problems, and hence opportunities, right, to solve, to crack them. But we don't see that level of disruption. We've been hearing this word a lot. कि पाकिस्तान में health disruption हो रही है, पाकिस्तान में .com disruption हो रही है, fintech disruption हो रही है. अभी स्टेट बैंक ने भी इसके हवाले से सर्च किया, मैं उस पर भी बात करूँगा. You were there looking at Next Billion Users statements for emerging markets. You've seen how our neighbors and other emerging markets that you were looking at developed. वहाँ पे वो disruption कैसे हो गई? और मैं फिर बाद में आऊँगा कि यहाँ पे क्यों नहीं हुई? And not because I believe वो पाकिस्तान वाली बात है ज़रूरी है.
You're asking the $1 billion question, like literally and figuratively. बहुत सारी ingredients होती हैं that need to come together for unicorns to be created. It's take any example, take lesser known examples like Vietnam that don't get talked about often, or Indonesia now has been talked about a lot in the past few years. India, of course, has been in the news for a while. There is sort of an ignition that's needed in the ecosystem. So heroes, success stories that sort of become role models where people, young people coming out say, यार मुझे वो multinational में job नहीं करनी. I want to follow my passion and go build a product that solves this problem. So एक तो वो phase है. वो I think यहाँ पे है. I think it's been here now for a little while. The second sort of very important thing is access to capital. Not just access to capital, but access to the right type of capital. So why is that critical, and why is the access that we have here different from perhaps the access that people or entrepreneurs have in Indonesia? The difference here is that one of my good venture capitalist friends who I respect deeply. His opinion on sizes of economies and how venture capitalists think is that a domestic economy needs to be about $1 trillion in size for venture capitalists to have the confidence that domestic businesses will get to about $1 billion in valuation. So now let's think about any of the countries that you've talked about. India, similar GDP per capita, but because it's 6 times larger, far larger GDP than us, so it meets that, checks that box. Indonesia, similar in size to us, but roughly 3 times our GDP per capita, so checks that box. Right? There are very few, in fact, I think if I have to really count and look across the board, there are actually very few domestic businesses. And by domestic, I mean companies that have grown and just tackled a domestic audience, that haven't sort of gone cross-border, that have crossed that sort of $1 billion mark in valuation. So VCs ultimately, और कोई भी institutional investors जब देखते हैं मुल्कों को और opportunities को, देखते हैं कि यार यहाँ पे अगर मैंने 1 या 2 investment करने का कोई नहीं सोचता, normally as a portfolio देखते हैं. Their sort of clear form of thinking is कि we can take a patient approach for 12-14 years, but ultimately what is the ROI going to be? And the biggest issue with most institutional investors as they look at Pakistan is you're not seeing serious institutional money coming in for startups right now.
Right.
And while you've seen ikka-dukka investments from sort of larger firms, the question that everybody worries about is कि यार मैंने तो Series A में X million dollars डाल दिए, जब Series B का time आएगा तो who's going to do the follow-on? There aren't enough funds that are looking at Pakistan actively.
You just had a first Series B.
Of course,
we were there a few days ago.
Absolutely I was, and I think that's, look, when you get to breakthroughs like these are fantastic moves. Right? You have another fund now that's taken a bet on Pakistan,
Yeah.
and that list of funds that are doing their first investment is growing.
Yes.
So some of it is a natural cycle कि पहले एक लेगा फिर दूसरा bet लेगा, and होता ये है कि ultimately एक FOMO create हो जाता है कि the top 10 funds are saying यार हमने Pakistan में invest किया, everybody is like यार okay, they can take the risks, so can we. A lot of the early investments and risks are going to be people driven. They're not going to be driven by the idea, and they're not necessarily going to be driven by Pakistan as an opportunity. It's going to be driven by the fact that the entrepreneur or the people backing the entrepreneur are credible enough for me to take a bet. Okay. And this, now I'm talking about sort of VC institutional investor mentality. So the problem that the ecosystem has started to tackle is कि हमारी early stage investing जो है, now we have very good locally focused funds now, which we didn't have till a few years ago. Till a few years ago, आपके पास family money था, and all of you know this very well because you probably experienced it. But मसला ये होता है कि old form of investing ये है कि पैसे डालो और control ले लो. तो मैं 51% से कम नहीं लूँगा, चाहे मैंने $50,000 डाले हो या मैंने $1,00,000 डाले हो. अब मसला ये होता है कि this is not how if you're really ensuring that an entrepreneur has skin in the game and really thinks long term and has vision and operates with hunger and just operates with the aggression that you need for a startup. The moment you take control of a company, I mean, you have basically already taken that that.
But it's like the issues will give you because of lack of awareness. Our traditional rich people who have money, families or not, are used to a certain ROI.
Absolutely.
It's been brick and mortar, it's been gold, it's been brand, it's been property and stocks, but they don't even know what's this startup breed. It's a small cocoon. And we have frankly not celebrated our entrepreneurs as heroes, people who brought in billions for this country outside Pakistan or in Pakistan, yes, generated thousands of jobs. They've been stained with taboo marks like, was corrupt, probably that's why he's so rich. So when we were growing up, I don't recall reading about any successful businessman in my curriculum in school or college.
Yes.
And we were always looking to idealize the ones that the West was showing us.
Yes.
So I believe this is also very important that we need to celebrate this in our culture, our entrepreneurs, the people that you met and the people that we all know.
Look, I couldn't agree with you more. I think there's awareness needed on both ends. There's awareness needed on the entrepreneurs end. Maybe किससे पैसे नहीं लेने. कौन सा पैसा जो आपको पैसे की जरूरत होती है as a startup, your natural tendency is to go and take money, particularly if you're sort of getting to the stage where you're running out. But taking the wrong type of money upfront on the wrong terms is actually more detrimental to you than continuing to say bootstrap and eating, dal roti for another 3 months. And I can't emphasize this enough because entrepreneurs can be awareness raise can be ultimately your future is going to be determined by the type of people you brought onto your cap tables at a very early stage. On the other hand, what will very naturally happen, or you're way already, even the family offices that are investing, they will ultimately see that their funding is just not attractive to entrepreneurs over a period of time because you are now seeing far more entrepreneur-friendly funds coming up. Local funds, people who've invested all over the world, and you've seen the phenomenal examples of that. Now, we have 2 or 3 or 4 of them right now. We need many more.
Yeah.
So at the early stage, about the sort of angel, seed, series A की problem थोड़ी बहुत tackle होनी शुरू हुई है. Series B वगैरह कभी भी मसला है. I mean, as you mentioned, like we literally saw the first Pakistani focus only domestic startup. Of course, और किया है, Rocket भी किया है, Zameen has done it for a broader set of markets. But domestic company के लिए Series B, now hopefully we'll see 10 more in the next few months. But I think that's the level that we need to get to very, very quickly.
So the problem we have identified, but the opportunity as well, is that it's the people who will make this happen, the connection, which is the private sector, if I'm getting it right, would enable and would actually act as a catalyst, right? 169 million, 83 million 3G, 4G subscribers, 169 million cellular subscribers, huge opportunity. But I would like to refer here, in Bangladesh in 2009, they initiated actually on digitally developing the country.
Yeah.
And they made a plan that by 2021, we will be digitally at par. The major elements included human resource development, digital governance, ICT in business and connecting citizens. And then Bangladesh and our eastern neighbor have made great strides towards building what we may call as a digital ecosystem.
Yep.
And we've been seeing that for many years, whether it was the e-governance summit, where their emails were going and talking and giving keynotes on e-governance. Surprisingly, Korea se sunte the, Sweden say, either say they were very high above. So where are we lacking in developing a robust digital infrastructure? Cellular connection है, penetration है, सब कुछ है. हम वहाँ कहाँ lag कर गए कि जो 3 या 4 areas हैं जिस पे पहले भी हम बात कर चुके हैं. What is it? Why?
So look, you're using 2 countries examples that are very, very different. So I think first of all, let's disaggregate the 2. I don't think that looking at Bangladesh and Pakistan, there are some differences, and there's been very good acceleration with a very clear plan. They put out a plan called Digital Bangladesh many years ago, and they've stayed focused on it. There's been stable government. If you go and talk to people in the Bangladeshi government, the focus on even digitizing the government is very high. And it's been very deliberate. So, private sector, you are seeing the startups being funded. It's nowhere near India, which is the other example you're talking about. Again, ecosystem, there are multiple factors in there.
True.
You need, and again, I'll say this, which is somewhat contrarian, but the public sector or the government has a very specific role to play. The role for the government is to set the right types of policies, to act as an enabler, and to get out of the way. The role for the government is not to try and do things that the private sector is far more capable of doing. हमारे जो challenges हैं, जो at least थोड़ा time government में गुजारा है, or otherwise sort of many years of looking at the Pakistan market from Google, we make very little things very difficult, right? And again, you guys know this, you all do startups here, right? Opening a corporate bank account. How long does it take? I mean, months.
Weeks.
Right now, the idea is you're an entrepreneur. If you're 23 years old, you are not expected to have somebody who's going to be able to give you a guarantee and or a certain amount of paid-up capital that you can put in your account. So we have to instill this mindset, and this is where the government and regulators have a critical role to play. Outside of that, this is a private sector job. So आप करें enable, get out of the way, let the private sector run. अगर किसी चीज को लगे कि regulate करने की जरूरत है, don't over-regulate too early, because then what ends up happening is you sort of slow the growth. I always give people China's example here is And again, you could argue everyone's like, China का बिल्कुल system फर्क है, government बिल्कुल फर्क है. It doesn't matter. You have to look at sort of what best things you can get from various countries, and you need to figure out what works best for you locally. China had this very clear mechanism कि यार regulate हम जरूर करेंगे, but we'll regulate at a point where we know exactly regulate करने से क्या होगा और चीजें growth inhibit नहीं होगी. So that bit has to really be tackled, I think. India में, China में, Vietnam में, Indonesia में, the diaspora has played a very, very large role. And I don't say this with at all, and I don't want this to be misconstrued at all to say कि diaspora के बगैर कुछ हो नहीं सकता. That is absolutely not what I'm saying. But what ends up happening is the people from those countries have lived abroad, they have created their networks, they may have different access to capital, they have exposure that they can then bring back. And if you see the first set, whether it's companies like Infosys and many of those sort of large names that came up in India, or you look at a bunch of the companies, like look at a company like Gojek in Indonesia, right? It was people who had a passion for solving for their country, had a bunch of exposure, had a bunch of access to capital. They were trustworthy as far as, and this is again not to say that somebody who's lived outside is more trustworthy than inside, but एक network अलग से बन गया होता है. होता ये है कि पहली अगर ignition उन लोगों के पीछे back मिल जाए, एक दफा floodgates opening की बात होती है. Once the floodgates open and you start seeing success stories, then this whole thing of Pakistan में invest करना risky है goes out the window. Because look, Pakistan is no more risky than Indonesia is or than Vietnam is. Most emerging markets have very, very similar problems. The complexity with dealing with the government is also there. Corruption is rampant in most emerging markets. That's why they're still emerging. So these are not things that are unique to Pakistan. I think the challenge is कि वो एक life cycle का एक phase होता है जिसमें फर्क लोगों ने part play करना होता है. And I actually do think that in our case, the diaspora has to play a much larger role than it has.
Absolutely.
I often find that I have an easier time convincing non-Pakistanis that Pakistan may invest in versus Pakistanis sitting abroad, which is because people have been so burnt by doing investments कि वो एक दफा burn होते हैं कहते हैं हमने दोबारा नहीं. So we need to change that mindset because the opportunity is now. In the next 5 years are going to define what the future looks like for this country.
Thank you. Much of what you're saying resonates so much because when we open up our applications for a hybrid cohort, right, everything is here. So it's on premises, it's virtual. We got applications from the diaspora. And why not? Because they want to incorporate their business in Pakistan. And we had from 4 countries. We did a health hackathon. We had 11 countries. Pakistanis from different countries wanted to come and work. But our trade commercial attaches earlier were trained to sell mangoes and maltas and textile to that world. They were not trained about human capital. कि यहाँ पे गेमिंग डेवलपर्स कौन है, यहाँ की खवातीन की अचीवमेंट्स क्या है, यहाँ के टेक्नोलॉजी के स्टूडेंट्स यूनिवर्सिटीज के स्किल्स क्या है. I believe that's now a little bit changing because I've seen some progress in France, in Japan, some people who've been trained who keep asking about different things. So yeah, I believe that that's very much the case that hopefully Pakistan's diaspora will add a huge value and also the people here. Coming about fintech, and we have to move on to the Q&A later. So I was going through while preparing for this tonight on the quarterly newsletters that State Bank publishes on branches banking. And I got to know that 20%, just over 20% of Pakistanis have bank accounts. Imagine that, such a huge population, not banked, right? And the number of branches banking accounts stood at 48 million as of March this year. So while we saw that State Bank recently is very active, the government is very progressive guy, and they recently released this circular in which they allowed financial institutions to outsource certain cloud services. But other than that, the digital financial inclusion and the digital financial disruption has not happened. There's so much that needs to be done. Paytm in India had more than a $16 billion valuation, more than $3.2 billion that they raised. Why can't that happen here? और इसी के साथ एक और सवाल है. बहुत सारे लोग यहाँ पे अक्सर सोच चुके होंगे, पूछ चुके होंगे कि जी पेपॉल पाकिस्तान की. भाई पेपॉल आना जरूरी है. क्या पेपॉल के ऑल्टरनेट ये काम नहीं हो सकता? क्या बाकी ममालिक क्या सिर्फ पेपॉल के मोहताज रह गए हैं? So yeah, 2-3 bundled together, but fintech.
Look, let's start with your first question, which is you've seen a company like Paytm disrupt the sort of landscape in India. So, if you go back and look at how Paytm started and sort of what some of the use cases were, the very early days were all about mobile top-ups. And mobile top-ups, ultimately, in a market like India, Pakistan, I mean, ultimately, when 95-96% of your customers are prepaid, you capture that experience and that user, you can make sure that your recurring transactions on a monthly basis will stay on the platform. Then over a period of time, you go build up other use cases and you go in a certain direction. लेकिन बहुत सारी ऐसी चीजें होती हैं जो टाइमिंग के तहत होती हैं. पाकिस्तान में आपके पास प्रोडक्ट्स हैं जो that make mobile top-ups very easy. You have your product on OneNote that servicing something like 200,000 people a day with mobile top-ups, very good traction, already valued at very decent amount. The real question is कि वो hockey stick growth किस तरह आएगी? Hockey stick growth दो तीन चीजों से आती है. One is growth capital. I was talking to a few of you about this earlier. If you are a business that is consumer facing, your strength is going to be to focus deeply on the problem that you're solving for the consumer and then ensuring that you're getting your products into as many consumers' hands as possible. Because the learning that you get as you get to sort of different types of users allows you to make your product really, really, laser focus on the exact problem, the UI, UX, and really start to tackle it, which is very difficult when your volumes and your numbers are lower. So we vicious cycle है कुछ लोग कहते हैं यार पैसे नहीं है तो हम user numbers कैसे बढ़ाएं. So एक तो ये है clear कि growth capital. The second thing that I consistently see here is, and I've talked with lots of entrepreneurs from India over many years, we tend to set our sight here. Indian entrepreneurs tend to set their sight above this roof. Now, we're a massive country. I don't see why we should not be aiming to have products that are in 10 million people's hands in 2 or 3 years, or that are doing hundreds of thousands of transactions. I think वो हुआ ये है कि एक जो success stories हैं उन्होंने एक ceiling लगा दी है thinking के ऊपर, and that to me is a problem because again, remember in a consumer product, you talk about Paytm. Paytm services tens of millions of Indians. I was personally part of product at Google called Google Pay, which we launched in India. Google Pay is now past 100 million users. It's only been around for 3 years. And this is just in one country. I know the thing that's important to understand is that getting into users' hands does not always mean throwing lots of money at Google and Facebook, right? Which is traditionally how you think about Google marketing. It could be very interesting in-app mechanisms. How do you do something that sort of helps make the product go viral? Do you really have to do marketing on platforms, or does your product need to be marketed more physically? Just sort of down to the hyper-local level. That's obviously depends on what you're doing. But setting a very sort of clear, long-term North Star is something that I find still very missing when I talk to people here. So one thing I would say is I want you guys to dream big. We are a 220 million person market, the 5th largest country in the world. There is no reason why we can't have many of you get to hundreds of millions of dollars of valuation, right? And मैं ये नहीं कह रही कि आप मतलब बैठे और अगले दिन यूनिकॉर्न बना लें, but I want to see visions that are more lofty. That's number one. Like, let's set your eye on a goal and then be obsessive about it. Number two, the growth capital. अभी तक मैंने I heard this from a lot of people that I was talking to today कि early funding के लिए आपने इधर apply किया हुआ है, उधर apply किया हुआ है. देखिए, the types of businesses, particularly if you're building a consumer product, you've got to go get money from the right type of people, and there is now enough funding from the right type of people available. So don't wait for somebody to tell you कि यार उधर जाओ. Most of these venture capitalists are available on all forms of social media. They take queries, you write to them, they will write back if they're interested. ऐसा नहीं है कि accessibility का मसला है. And I say this with a lot of confidence because I know most of these people, and I know that they spend most of their day talking to entrepreneurs like you. So that's another piece that I really would emphasize, and I can't emphasize enough, is you've got to think big and then go get the right type of money. Don't pull yourself back because you think यार अभी हमें इस level तक वो आप 80-20 rule को follow करें. and then go at it. You may not get things right the first time. The whole idea is you launch and iterate. So I think that's a very core principle that we really need to make sure that our entrepreneurs are sort of embodying that spirit.
PayPal वाली बात।
PayPal
वो तो
आपकी
PayPal
favorite।
जहाँ पे सवाल बनेगा जी।
अच्छा देखिए अब again I might
Database
say
का issue है क्या है?
I might say
only hooked on to one brand.
so frankly the brand to me is irrelevant as long as the problem is getting solved.
Exactly.
So I've said this in many forums before. There are products like Payoneer out here that actually most freelancers I talk to are now using. And I've done focus groups with freelancers who say we managed to get our payments that same day. So I want to know exactly what the challenge. Now, of course, there are very specific challenges with payment gateways, particularly when you're talking about. So let's talk about specific problems. जो मैंने देखा है जहाँ पे लोग कहते हैं यार अगर PayPal होता तो जिंदगी आसान. What happens is you have dev shops that will bid on projects that they then want to subcontract out.
Yeah.
So उधर मसला ये आता है कि it's a two-step process. आपको पैसे खुद लेने होते हैं और फिर आपको पैसे किसी की subcontract को भेजना. एक लेयर तो हो जाता है, दूसरे लेयर में आप फंस जाते हैं. तो अब ये रियलिटी है भाई, या तो आपको पता है कि ये प्रॉब्लम है, ये वाली प्रॉब्लम पार्ट सॉल्व है उसका, ये वाला प्रॉब्लम नहीं है सॉल्व. अब लोगों ने क्या किया है, एवरीवन हैज फिगर्ड आउट वर्कअराउंड्स. जिन लोगों के एक्सेस है बाहर है, लोगों ने अपने लोगों ने बैंक अकाउंट बाहर खोले हुए हैं, तो पूरा प्रोसेस पूरी ट्रांजैक्शन बाहर होती है. वी डोंट इवन गेट टू सी the value of that transaction in the country. The forex doesn't hit the country in many cases. And that's, I mean, who loses out eventually, like we do. I mean, recently you've seen that Checkout has done a partnership with Lyft. So I do think there's work happening. Look, it's not, I'm not, by the way, pretending to say that it's a perfect environment. I'll be the first one to say you guys are operating in an incredibly difficult environment. So let's not discount that. But when you operate in difficult environments, you do find workarounds. I think that this obsession of bringing PayPal here, to me, it frankly doesn't make sense. It could be PayPal or PayX or pay anything else. It needs to solve the problem. You know, maybe we'll find a local solution to it, and somebody will crack this. And there are components of it that are cracked. Like I want to see real people telling me कि हमारा ये काम नहीं हो सकता क्योंकि हमारे पास ये चीज़ available है. And then that's the piece that then one needs to go and tackle. और अगर for example government को push कराना है तो उस चीज़ पे करें. अब हमने इस वक्त government में जो loudest चीज़ इस वक्त amplified है वो ये है कि PayPal. तो कोशिश सारी जो हुई भी है वो PayPal executives को लिखने की हुई है. That's not, to me, that's actually amplification of the wrong thing.
Yeah, because then they will say that what's the business case, and then we'll go back.
And by the way, this is not just PayPal. Having spent many years at Google, where I ran the business for this region, we didn't have the numbers coming out of this market for Google to warrant opening physical presence here. And that was not true of Pakistan, it was true of Bangladesh as well and a number of other countries. So, by the way, I mean, I would say put yourself in, like if you were running a global business and you had to go out, open physical offices in different parts of the world, you would probably follow a certain criteria that you would use to then figure out कि किस country को prioritize करना. It's a simple logic है. अब अगर आप उस logic के अंदर आप meet होते हैं तो great. अगर आप उस logic में there is a business case meet maybe होता है नहीं होता है या roughly होता है. Yes, लोग बहुत हैं, that's true. So product use बहुत है. That definitely, but that's not necessarily what equates into monetization for these companies, right? So for companies that are largely for profit, and I'm going to think about the bottom line, ultimately, how do you make sure that they invest more in this country? You know, there should be more money in it for them. I'm not saying, by the way, that we should all bend over backwards to give them more business. Actually, you will always hear me say that we need to focus on indigenously built platforms.
Absolutely.
So we are living in a bipolar world where most large platforms are either American or Chinese, and most of us run our lives on either American platforms or Chinese platforms. And I think if you look a decade out, we are going to be the losers. Pakistan is going to be the loser, right? And if you look at sort of any forward-looking country, and not to say again that the public sector has done this, but you have seen entrepreneurs tackle the problem of building platforms, and you see Vietnam, you see Indonesia. All of these countries now have, platforms that come close to these large global platforms.
Yeah, most of them are indigenous, as you just said.
They're indigenous.
Homegrown solutions. to their own problems.
Because देखिए बात ये है आप पाकिस्तानी यूजर को better than anyone समझ सकेंगे.
True.
It's just as simple as that. आपकी ability to localize down to Saraiki वो आपके पास है. वो बाकी companies नहीं कर सकेंगे. I mean I remember again just you're bringing back memories of the types of fights we used to have at Google to just localize into Urdu, let alone any other language after Urdu. So for a while AdWords wasn't available in Urdu. I mean I remember I was part of the team that helped get AdWords localized. I was part of the team that got YouTube unblocked. I mean, the reality is, those problems at a global scale, we are a little dot. Whereas if you're building locally, you're not only building from Pakistan for Pakistan, you're actually thinking about the fact that around the tier 3 town in Pakistan, the types of ways you're going to engage with the consumer here are going to be completely different. And frankly, I don't think a Google or Facebook are going to be able to figure it out beyond a certain stage.
बड़ी अच्छी बात है. मैं ये लिख भी रहा हूँ कुछ पॉइंट्स जो मैं चाहूँगा कि एंड में समराइज करूँ. But एक सवाल मेरा और है, then I'll move to a very small rapid fire short questions with short quick responses, whatever comes first to your mind, honest ones. But before I move to that, I have one more. I had a few more, but इतने मजे की बात है और टाइम बहुत ज़्यादा है. टाइम कम है, ज़्यादा नहीं है. That's not so wrong. So startups across the world are engines of growth. We are surrounded by problems. We've discussed a few here. And with these recent investments that have happened in Pakistani founders has proven one thing, that there is a higher level of trust and credibility of Pakistanis being validated outside. Ke buy ke structured funds bhi aake Pakistan mein invest kar rahe hain. Lekin if this is happening in the tech scene that we see, how do you see our young founders, many of them you've met, most of them are online. We have several hundreds online. I see the number in 3 digits. How would you say they should go about tackling these real challenges? By real challenges, poverty, unemployment, population growth, climate change, education में फिर भी लोग कर रहे हैं, health पे कर रहे हैं, but there are many real challenges and nobody is going after tackling them. What would be your advice to the founders?
मेरी advice बहुत simple है, and this is the advice that I've tried to follow as well. Do what you are passionate about. Like it is, don't worry about trying to find a problem that's going to help make a startup that's going to get to this valuation. At some point, you're going to, because going down a startup or being a founder, going down an entrepreneurial journey is going to be full of challenges. There are going to be lots of times where you feel like hitting your head on a brick wall. And the thing that will keep you going through that is if you feel in your heart that you're working on something that is far bigger, far more important than maybe an artificial goal that you had set for yourself. So follow that. If solving for health is your passion, then do that. I mean, I've met people who've had personal experiences, and as a result of that, have gone into doing or starting companies that sort of tackle those problems. Look, I'll give the example of why was Shaukat Khanum built, right? Shaukat Khanum as a hospital, it's not a tech startup, but it was a hospital that was built because the Prime Minister had a personal experience and he felt like he wanted to do that for. So my point is कि जब आप एक चीज को एक certain passion के साथ follow करते हैं, उसका result और उसकी जो resiliency आप दिखा सकते हैं वो बिल्कुल different होगी. So you're never going to hear me say कि यार इसके पीछे जाओ ये hot जगह है या इसके पीछे जाओ, because that isn't that's not. You need to feel good about what you're working on, and that needs to get you through the ups and downs of this sort of crazy journey that startup life is.
ये मेरे ख्याल में बहुत बेहतरीन जवाब है कि जिस चीज पे आप सबसे ज्यादा एक्साइटेड हैं, जिस पे ये ज्यादा तेज धड़कता है, उसी के पीछे भागना चाहिए. Rapid fire, quick ones. Digital detox, ये और नहीं?
Yeah.
You practiced?
I won't.
Cryptocurrency in Pakistan, ये और नहीं?
At the right time, yeah.
Okay. Did you watch The Social Dilemma?
It is on my list of things to watch on Netflix. I've just gotten through Ethical, which took me a long time. So, which is why I haven't read Social Dilemma.
चलिए, अगला सवाल मेरी पूछ सकता है कि क्या आपने Social Dilemma देखा है? So, the last book you read was?
I'm in the middle of reading a book called Rebooting India. It's by someone called Nandan Nilekani. Very highly recommended for people who are looking to use tech to solve public sector problems. I haven't finished it yet.
Lovely. Failure to you is
letting people down.
favorite Pakistani startup is
IKEA. This is not because of their Series B. Just now, they've been a favorite for a while.
a leader is as good as
His word or her word.
and your favorite entrepreneur, Pakistan or outside?
That is a tough one. Having seen what Larry and Sergey built at Google, very, very closely and up close in person, I would have to say they're really amongst my favorite people who just took an idea and took it to great heights.
Wow, excellent. Your best mistake was? Best mistake.
My best mistake, getting married early.
Excellent. Many of you, including myself, have made this mistake. A wonderful mistake. You're watching now. So wonderful. So the biggest lesson your mentor has taught you.
I have lots of mentors and they've taught me lots of lessons. I wouldn't be here without them. Have confidence in what you're doing as long as you believe in it. Control the things that you can control and let some other things take their own course. And just follow your heart and do what you're passionate about.
Wow, excellent. Now that I had questions, but I won't ask them. मुझे पता है आप सबके सवाल आ रहे हैं. I have got lots of questions that are coming up on Zoom and social media on my phone. So I'll proceed from here and then we'll ask a few from the audience as well because you guys are still there. They're online. So I just want to first take that opportunity. So thank you so much, all of you. All right. So one is from Shahid Wasim. He says, what do you see happening first? A digital city in District Haripur, is this a possible project or over ambitious? And how much time do you think it will take for completion? I believe a project which is underway and you're aware of, so he's asking about that.
So he said, what do you see happening first?
The first digital city. Would it be in District Haripur?
So I don't have a good handle on where other digital cities are coming up. I was present at the inauguration of the digital city in Haripur. I know any sort of, whether you call it a digital city or tech center or tech hub, एक उसकी space है, एक उसकी building है और sort of physical है, और एक है कि उसके अंदर आता क्या है. Ultimately, spaces आप amazing बना सकते हैं. But a hub or a city or whatever you want to call it is going to be successful when those sort of ingredients come through.
Yeah.
Right? So you need names, you need a very good mix of local companies, you need a mix of some international companies coming through, you need a culture being created where it becomes sort of a center of knowledge sharing. Right? Otherwise, खाली जगह बनाना जो है वो city को successful नहीं बनाएगा.
Absolutely. एक आपकी ही बात का extended comment है by Dr. Meher Khan. She's in US. She's by the co-founder of the startup here. She says, I agree that Pakistan government should have a narcissistic obsession in fruit stuff with small things. We at Laugh Incorporated are a startup registered here in the US, also now getting incubated at NIC, getting registered in Pakistan. We have been unable to establish a bank account for more than last 6 weeks. And by the way, this is despite us at the NIC and all our contacts helping them out. And this is for the Roshan bank account. And she is saying that because of a one-way fund requirement. So with such current situations, how would we grow with all these things that we talked about?
Look, I will say that on Roshan digital accounts, the intent is very, very strong and very good. However, it's a new thing, and like with all new things, getting them right will take some time. So the intent is make it easier for people, make it easier for people abroad, because it solves the problems for both ends. My request to Dr. Khan would be that the bank that she's trying to open the Roshan digital account through, that she should absolutely try to find somebody, an account manager there to get the feedback to. Because right now, all the banks that at least I've spoken to, they're very, very eagerly trying to get this right because they also see this as
probably the principal agency communication gap is in between.
देखिए बात ये है कि banks need to put themselves out there to ensure that they're getting the user feedback, and then users need to actually give the feedback as well. Because we're in an early stage, right? So I think we have to think of this as a beta product in many ways. It's not perfect.
Bilal says, which startup sector are you investing in Pakistan?
In the past, I have invested in e-commerce and e-commerce related companies. The areas that I feel most comfortable with and I know the best tend to be, again, sort of commerce, supply chain, payments. These are the areas I look at. I've also looked at health and health-related startups. I've looked at tech. I don't have a particular sector, frankly. For me, it's all about the people. If I feel a connection and I feel that the team that is working on solving the problem needs, should be backed, then I'm.
So it's the team.
It's the people.
Yeah,
it's always the people.
Yeah.
You can take a B idea and an amazing team, and it will pivot and do wonders. So that's very, very, very critical. Is work with the people that you can actually really relate with and that share values with you.
So Safami says there have been a risk of increased digital crimes as more individual institutional bodies have come online, but with not much regulation on that side, and the cautionary measures that one needs to take, and the relevant bodies that are set up, they do take due action. What she's trying to ask, probably, if I'm not wrong, is that are the bodies responsible for crimes, in this case, cybercrime in FIA? Is it enough to tackle what's all happening online? And there are different forms of cybercrime, not the only few ones, the heinous ones that you can think of.
So, look, short answer is no. I think across the board, we don't have a handle on this space at all. Part of it is the expertise doesn't exist. Second part of it is we haven't invested in ensuring that sort of that level of surveillance and security exists. Surveillance on your own systems so that you can ensure that they stay safe. And what tends to happen is जब कोई एक attack होता है किसी भी organization के ऊपर चाहे private sector में हो तब एकदम से उस चीज के ऊपर focus बहुत बढ़ जाता है and then there's a बहुत हाथ पांव मारे जाते हैं और फिर वो चीज die down कर जाती है. So there needs to be this constant hyper state of vigilance because we are moving towards an era where this is.
और अगर वो attack कुछ data leak कर दे या मीडिया में top of the town बन जाए तो उसमें 90 दिन में legislation लाने की भी बात करनी जाती है. खैर ताहिर साहब पूछते हैं what you suggest for our coming generation, our future generation, our children who are 10, who are under 10 years old, what to do for the best survival in such an emerging economy? What skills should we equip them with? Very important.
That's a phenomenal question. I will say that I spend the thing that worries me the most. I mean, things that I think about, what keeps you up at night. This is literally at the top. Because our education system over the years ऐसा बन गया है कि there's a lot of money in it, and so hence people are making a lot of money on it. The quality of education that we are imparting, even at the best places, is just not up to par. And I'm talking about at the school level right now, not talking about higher education. And this is private schools. So government schools so equally secondary baat hai. Are we teaching our children how to think? Are we teaching our children to question status quo, to think outside the box, to have a problem-solving approach, with a growth mindset versus fixed mindset? To me, that's ultimately, लेकिन होगा ये कि 10 साल में आपके 10 साल का बच्चा है, 10 साल के अंदर that child is going to be entering the workforce. The workforce in 10 years is going to be far more of an even playing field than it is today.
True.
Right? The things that have kept us back, like visas, you're going to have companies where 50-60% of their workforce will be remote. So if you offer what a company wants in Germany or in the US, and you have a Pakistani passport, that's not what's going to hold you back. What's going to hold you back is actually how you package yourself and your skills and the experiences that you can show. So to me, the piece again that I worry a lot about is what do we need to do? By the way, I don't have an answer to this at all. So I worry about it a lot. What do we need to do differently to help change this mindset of the way we are educating our kids? We're running after grades. There's just this insanity that I see 10, 12, 14-year-olds. Schools, they're not learning what they're supposed to learn. They spend hours a day outside of school getting, with tutors. At the end of it, yes, you may get somebody who gets a decent paper-based result, but most organizations don't care.
But I believe you answered this a little bit in your answer to the first question about your early life. माँ बाप कहते हैं ये बन जाओ, बच्चा बनता है. Interviews में I have sat with people with lots of experience. What's your passion? This, what you did, something else, right? So he was an MBBS, medical, 5 साल लगाए, लाखों रुपए भी उड़ा दिए माँ बाप के. काम क्या करना है? मैं तो chemical engineer, मैं तो doctor, नहीं मैं तो technology में मुझे बहुत interest है, visual design. My point is, we probably snub and we ask them, we don't want them to ask questions. ये भी बड़ा मसला है कि हम तो सवाल पूछने से मना कर देते हैं बच्चों.
Huge question, ये बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज है. देखिए बात ये अगर आपने लीडर्स प्रोड्यूस करने हैं, लीडर्स रट्टा मार के इंस्ट्रक्शन फॉलो करने से नहीं बनते. It's just as simple as that. So,
question.
By the way, I'm absolutely not saying कि आप disrespectful हो. There is a, these are two very different things and they often get misconstrued. What I'm saying is we have to encourage people to be, to feel comfortable on both ends. For kids and students to feel comfortable, but also for the people who are imparting the education to feel comfortable with the fact that they may get questioned by somebody who's much younger than them, and that's part of the learning process.
Absolutely.
So incredibly important, and I think like with most other things, the answer is going to be with our youth and our nation. They're the ones who are going to come up with a new way of educating people. They're the ones who are going to come up with a new way of making quality education more affordable. I have zero doubt about that in my mind. This country, the youth of this country is who is going to solve the majority of this country's problems.
Indeed. Jadid Khwaja पूछते हैं, can capital controls be lifted for foreign investors to invest in Pakistani startups? Not the right question, probably for state banks, foreign exchange policies, payment services department. Would you like to answer this?
देखिए, मैं broadly इसको ये जवाब दूंगी कि there is actually a lot of focus on making it easier for foreign investors to invest here. There's a lot more work that needs to be done. I mean, look, the reality is if people can't take their money out of Pakistan easily, they will continue. Startups will continue to incorporate outside of Pakistan, and funds will continue to want startups to set up outside of Pakistan. So again, over a period of time, actually, what Pakistan loses. So I think that does need to happen. There are two ways about it. I agree with what he's saying actually, okay. And I do think absolutely that way more needs to be done.
Okay, मैं एक last question यहाँ से ले रहा हूँ. उसके बाद we'll take a few questions from here before we wrap up, and then we can interact afterwards because we just want to be very punctual on the timeline, right? I don't want to leave the audience hanging online for a long time. Although I'm sure they're here to listen to you even for a longer time. Pakistan में AI का क्या future? President's National Initiative of Cloud Computing and Artificial Intelligence के नाम से एक बहुत बड़े प्रोजेक्ट का आगाज किया गया, जिसमें डायस्पोरा का बहुत बड़ा रोल था और बहुत बड़े इंस्टीट्यूशंस, MIT being one of them, contributed उनके MOOCs, उनके courses, एक ऐसा कोर्स बनाया जाए कि फ्यूचर जनरेशन तैयार की जाए. यहाँ पे दोस्त भी मेरे बैठे हैं जो गूगल के लिए क्लाउड सीखो के नाम से भी उन्होंने पाकिस्तान में बड़ा काम कर रहे हैं, बहुत सारे और भी इंस्टीट्यूशंस कर रहे हैं. क्या हम AI रेडी हैं? क्या हमारे पास भी पोटेंशियल है कि हम अगला future.com बबल था, फिर दूसरा बबल आया, ये वाला बबल पकड़ लेंगे तो ये भी निकल जाएगा? और वो अगर मैंने सिर्फ NAIC का जिक्र किया है because that was a larger or probably the first time that the federal government put their foot in the door for this. And what would be needed to take this forward? This is not my question. एक किसी का आया था, मैंने बीच में 5 चीजें बता.
देखिए I'm an eternal optimist, so you'll never hear me say कि ये भी wave निकलेगी, ये भी wave निकलेगी. बहुत सारे लोग पाकिस्तान में already हैं जो इस wave से फायदा उठा रहे हैं, right? तो अगर इतने लोग उठा सकते हैं, इतने लोग नहीं उठा सकते. Let me talk about what I think the problem is right now. इस वक्त हो रहा है कि हम trainings बहुत तादाद में कर रहे हैं. मतलब we are offering courses, लोगों को इस चीज में ट्रेन कर लें, उस चीज में ट्रेन कर लें. अब होता ये है कि आपने 3 महीने की ट्रेनिंग करके या 6 महीने की ट्रेनिंग करके बाद निकले, तो then what are you going to do then? Nobody is solving for that.
So you're saying the demand is not there?
The demand is there. But the demand is there. You need to know how to tap into that demand. Okay. So what's happening is so as an example, you constantly hear कि जी फलाने मुल्क में 100,000 AI engineers की कमी है. या पुरानी जगह पे इतने, अब मसला ये है कि भाई how does a Pakistani 23-year-old who's just completed a 6-month training course that whoever is offered, private sector, public sector, how do they know how to tap into that demand?
Absolutely.
So that's the जो हमारा सब market failure हो रहा है. लेकिन बात ये है कि trainings are only as good as what they're going to result in. You can launch a million training programs, but if they're not helping the people getting trained, have higher incomes or get better jobs, then those trainings are useless.
So they're getting technical skills, what you're saying.
They may be getting technical education.
Okay.
But skills ultimately तब आएंगी जब आप जो आपने training की है, education की है, उसको आप action में डालेंगे. Action में डालने का मतलब ही है कि ultimately आपने या आप कोई internship करेंगे या आप कोई project पे काम करेंगे, it could be a freelancing project, could be whatever. But the point is without doing that, you have book knowledge, right? Ultimately, what helps make you marketable is not just going to be book knowledge. It's not. I mean, that's just sort of how it is. So actually, what I find again, and I use the word market failure. Market failure is what is हो रहा है कि unless you are exposed to how to get some work as a freelancer, or you're exposed to how to tackle, and tap into those 100,000 jobs that may be available in the US for AI engineers, you're missing out. आपकी एक्सपेक्टेशन है कि मैंने इतने पैसे खर्च किए, मैंने ट्रेनिंग करवा ली, अब मुझे कुछ ऑटोमेटिकली चीज मिल जाएगी. ऑटोमेटिकली किधर से मिलेगी? नहीं, आपकी देखिए लोकल डिमांड उन चीजों की उस लेवल की है ही नहीं है.
हाँ, लेकिन जो इंटरनेशनल डिमांड है उसके लिए भी आपने कहा एक एजुकेशन है, एक स्किल्स है, और फिर एक और कंपोनेंट जिसे लेबल कर रहा है वो सॉफ्ट स्किल्स टू गेट द जॉब एंड टू शोकेस दैट यू गुड एट इट, राइट? I mean, because again, remember we're talking about a global marketplace. In a global marketplace, it doesn't matter that you're from Pakistan. It just matters how good you are at what you're saying, at that particular job that somebody has posted, and they want to get done. So, again, my key message on this is we need to stop worrying about the fact that we are coming from Pakistan. Absolutely.
Forget about that. We are moving towards a world where, green passport ke masle wo khatam ho gaya. This is a different ball game in this field particularly. In this field again particularly, right? Because you're competing against people in a virtual environment. In a virtual environment, what will matter is what you're presenting yourself as and your skills as. It's not going to matter कि आपकी, मैं आपको as an example बताती हूँ, 3 years out of undergrad, a company like Google does not even ask for your transcript or your GPA. They don't care what your GPA is or how you did 3 years out of undergrad. So as a 25-year-old, if you're applying to a company like Google, they're not going to care कि आप your 2.7 GPA था या 3.9 GPA था. So this sort of tells you the mindset of the industry, right? What will matter is what you have done, how you use those skills, and I think that's the mindset that we need to get the youth into.
Absolutely, skills is the future. Let's take some questions from here in the room. My colleague will pass on the mic. Ji, please.
Thank you for.
Can you please speak loud so that others can hear you here?
Introduce भी करा.
अपना नाम बता दीजिए और अपना फिर सवाल.
So I am Dr. Mahal Aslam, and I have also done my MBA and I'm currently working in the tech space. So we have had around 6 million plus social media followers in the work we are doing. So my question to you was that I was motivated like millions of others when you spoke on the digitalization of Pakistan. 70% of us are from the youth and they are been brought up on the fast food and they want the work to get done. So my question is that when you were trying to go for the digitization of different services, like for example for the court cases, majority of the court cases are because हमें ये नहीं पता कि ये पटवारी ने क्या लिखा हुआ है वो फाइल कहाँ पड़ी है. When you were going for the digitization, were you faced more by the resistance or by ignorance? So what was more?
Thank you.
Resistance versus ignorance. देखिए, I think ignorance नहीं है. People know what needs to be done. Again, generalization किसी भी चीज में करना मुश्किल होता है, लेकिन sort of broadly resistance इसलिए आती है because again remember what does digitization do? Digitization creates transparency, it creates accountability, it will give a lot of income for a lot of people. This is pick up any sector. So you are by default the term is threatening to people. जो जहाँ पे status quo बना हुआ है और जहाँ से rent seeking behavior exist करता है, जब आप एक उस चीज को करने की कोशिश करेंगे तो of course resistance आएगी. I mean ये और इसके अंदर ये बात में खाली पाकिस्तान का कोई मसला नहीं है, ये हर जगह में मसला है जहाँ जहाँ इस तरह के rent seeking behaviors established हैं. तो it's a very tall order. The thing, देखिए मैंने बहुत सी गलतियाँ की हैं and I've learned a lot and there are lots of things that I've learned perhaps needed to be tackled slightly differently. One very clear example to me is just because I thought कि चीजों का roadmap ये होना चाहिए does not mean कि वो actual roadmap ये होना चाहिए. Any sector, whether it's health, education, FDR reform, take anything. The reality is unless you have agreement and willingness at the top, it is very, very difficult to get things done because already हर layer पे मसले आएंगे. So you need alignment right here. When you have alignment right there, then together you can start to tackle all the other issues that will come. मसला ये होता है कि अगर आप उधर ही alignment लेने में फंस जाते हैं तो बाकी तो जगह resistance आनी ही आनी है. So you have to identify champions very early on and champions who are as interested in solving those problems as you might be. So I think that's a piece that one has to invest a lot more time in. So वो कौन सी ऐसी जगह हैं, कौन सी ऐसी services हैं, government services, otherwise sectors where there are champions that exist that are trying to do the right thing, and how can you then really give them some horsepower? So because once you create stories, success stories, it becomes it's like success sort of sells, right? So you solve a problem and it becomes successful. That becomes your core thing that you can then talk about and convince others using.
Excellent. G, Saad, then listen to this.
Sorry. My name is Saad. So I have a suggestion and then I have a question.
Okay.
And let's start with the suggestion. So I think the suggestion is so you have this amazing institutional knowledge which you have gathered over the decade. And I think it would be amazing for us if there is a way that we can figure out how very regularly and very different events you are able to share this knowledge. And I know, thank you again for the model.
You are most welcome at NIC to do that in a series.
I really want to thank you for the model courage and for the inspiration that you provided the young people. But I think, just to, I will message you about this as well. But just to put more pressure on you, I wanted, this is something we should figure out how we can get that knowledge. So, ये suggestion है. Question ये है कि we have a model for digital Pakistan. If there's a way to open source that model, so other private or public sector, followers, institutions can follow that. But pieces of that, like I'm personally very interested in the skills for a vertical that you had published, and how can we take that forward is your question.
So Saad, thank you very much for the suggestion, and I will say that this one is on me. I need to do a better job of it. I'd love ideas for how I can do this, like what sort of platforms to use. Look, the mission very much is the same. So, all of us need to come together to help put Pakistan on the map. It's just as simple as that, right? So, अगर हम सब मिलके नहीं करेंगे तो और पाए छोटी रहेगी तो all of us lose in the and so to whatever extent it's whether it's deep forums like these or sort of more regular digital platform or forum through that, I'm very happy to explore ideas. So, great, I've been thinking about it as well. So great suggestion. Look, your second part, I think also is, just for the sake of people online, the question was, how do you sort of open source this digital Pakistan agenda or components of it so that people from regardless of where they might be can participate and contribute towards helping move that agenda forward. There are certain things that are where you could do that actually. There are other things that are difficult. Just in this conversation, we've talked about multiple things that are very directly linked to a policy or a piece of regulation that has to happen for something to happen, or for the floodgates to open or for things to become easier. Those are very difficult things. उनके बड़े clear owners हैं. आपने उन owners के साथ lobby करके उनको push करना है ताकि आपका ecosystem फायदा कर सके. Then there are other things that we talked about. like for example, actually, this is my sort of favorite example and something that I'm very passionate about is building a Pakistan stack. Right? What sort of digital infrastructure can we build that ultimately allows sort of private and public sector to operate with far more ease and to share and exchange data with far more ease. And a lot of this begins with identity and data, with knowledge. So there's lots of very interesting, and now I'm talking about actual open source. There's lots of very interesting work that actually has been done. Challenge ये आ जाता है कि उसकी implementation अगर किसी government body के साथ sit करती है, तो फिर private sector can only play a role up to a certain point. बाकी की implementation ultimately roll out उसका public sector से होना है. I think your point on the skilling and education pillar, completely agreed. Don't have an answer on how we would do it, but I do think we need to think very strongly about it. Again, the concept and the beauty of Digital Pakistan in many ways was that it's an idea, right? There are very clear sort of streams that need to happen, but it's not meant to be कि जी खाली यही लोग drive करेंगे या खाली public sector drive कर सकता है या खाली मैं drive कर सकती हूँ. That's just not how it is. It's about something that ultimately brings the nation and the youth together. And the fundamental piece in that is how much ownership can we take for driving this forward ourselves. So what I would say is look, this is one that we're only going to be able to solve if we put our heads together. So let's think about it. I mean, right now, most of my time right now, by the way, is currently being spent on thinking about how we can make progress on some of those pillars at least from the private sector, right? Because I'm on the outside now. So, as are all of you. So I think we're going to come up with the best ideas when you put, sort of people who are passionate about solving those problems together. So let's stay at it. I mean, I'm very open. You should absolutely feel free to message me.
Ji, yes, sir.
My name is Bharat Ram, part of my life doing telecom, digital sector policy, of jobs with the government. Currently, with the industry now, surely telco industry, they're all digital and information infrastructure. So, believe there's a role to play. I'll be asking you your honesty. I mean, not keyboard stuff. I don't want to put you into a black spot or difficult thing. First you use the word honesty. So, if we have an idea, digital Pakistan, everybody agrees. I mean, you don't want to find a person who would, on the face of it, not be believing. Fair enough of the work and, awareness of largely how it's going to be done.
Yeah.
Our current regime, which you are about, I've been part of this for some while, Prime Minister Imran Khan, on the full commitment, everything. Why did he not give himself a chance to really handle it himself? And for that matter, empower the people who can do it. Why do we see a hesitation in actually solving? On the face, everybody agrees. Digital is fine, Corona has told you, it has shown you proven right in front of you. But still no hope. Why not? What is wrong with PM owning and mentoring?
Well, thank you so much for this question. But
It's just a
I want to, if this is something that I believe you want to know and she wants to share, let this be something between the two of you outside. Am I? No, why not? But with this being a public talk, I would.
Let me
this is not political. This is professional.
no, let me take a stab at answering a part of that question. बाकी ये देखिए I can't speak for anybody. मैं तो आपको अपना opinion अपना perspective दे सकती हूँ. देखिए I very strongly believe कि willingness का मसला नहीं है. There is a strong desire. In fact, this topic, and we've seen this in the last 6 months, right? The topic of digital and digitization has come up, and data has come up more in the past, like this year, than frankly, at least I have ever witnessed in my life. And COVID is front and center, so you could give credit to COVID as far as this is concerned. This is like the one thing you can give credit to COVID for. And I don't feel that that's an issue. तो आप जो बात करें ना, मुझे कभी भी उस sense में नहीं हुआ. Were our structures set up well? Maybe they weren't as optimal as they should be. And look, I will take a lot of personal responsibility for not asking for some things or not ensuring that those structures were set up in time. So, you know, it's not, बहुत सारी चीजें होती हैं, it's not a one-way street. You have to say कि
You were set up in those structures.
पर देखिए होता ये है कि structures को set up करना किसी एक बंदे का काम नहीं होता. You're talking about an institution, you know, you think of this as the largest institution that exists in this country, that is run a certain way for a very long period of time. So it's incredibly important to understand that these are not solvable problems overnight. The important thing to me is that there is awareness and desire and willingness to solve this problem at the top. That the right people are empowered to do the job and to tackle it aggressively. People, देखिए, government के अंदर आना जाना is very normal. Role होना, role ना होना, that's a, you know, if you ask me, I'm saying this with complete and utter honesty here, because you asked me to be honest. When I showed up in Pakistan in December and I did the Digital Pakistan speech, I didn't have a role. I was a private citizen. I'm still a private citizen right now. So I had a role in the middle for some period of time, and that role isn't there anymore. That doesn't mean that Digital Pakistan agenda can't be achieved by all of us, or you know, that I'm not going to stay on it. So I'm very much here and working on it. मैं आपको ये कह रही हूँ कि I can talk.
No, but
for myself.
So no, I really appreciate that you opening up and
Yeah, of
saying,
course.
because neither Mudassar and no one else probably wants to put you on the spot. But एक और भी है, because I believe most of us who are sitting here, you, mashallah, have a lot of experience as well, Mudassar, of working in the government, right, for the government. And you know very well from your experiences how things work in the government. I had a little tiny experience of 7 years as well, and you had, mashallah, much more. And I'm sure you're also aware, why don't we?
Oh, I'm aware. I just want to listen sometimes because what's
Okay,
more expected of this is
We have to stay at it.
Exactly. I absolutely believe.
Mudassar, देखिए, बात ये है कि we cannot give up. I say this with utmost
Yes.
you know, honesty and candor. We know it is an uphill battle. If it were easy, somebody else would have done it.
Yes.
Right? So we cannot back off because a role doesn't exist, or you know, a title doesn't exist, or a structure wasn't there. The important thing is, how do we tackle the problem? Because ultimately, देखिए, बात ये है कि government, party, these are all, मतलब ये, you know, कभी एक है, कभी दूसरी है. That's a very secondary thing. Ultimately, it's about the country. It's about the youth. It's about the future of, you know, our next generation. I mean, I showed up here really ultimately because I care about my children feeling. I felt that their identity was at risk, and I still feel like their identity is at risk. Right? So 20 years later, where is this country going to be in the global landscape? And what do we need to do? What does our generation need to do today? I don't feel it's okay for our generation. You know, our liabilities are done, and you know, our kids are grown up and married, and then we say कि यार चलो आप कुछ काम करते हैं. हमारे अंदर energy अभी है, तो हम, मुझे लगता है कि हमारी और हम सब की, by the way, this whole group here and everybody who's watching, I think our responsibility is to try to take some of these things in our own hands.
Always hard in the beginning, messy in the middle, glorious at the
It
end,
is.
and then it starts again. We have another question. Chief,
So,
can you
hi,
please share your name?
my name is Anand Pal. I work for API. So Google recently started its 6-month certification program that it gives with, you know, the basic 4-year traditional degree program.
Achha, okay. I haven't been following. Okay.